so strong in a loving way that if you're not in that vibration, all the other vibrations just can't survive. So much as, metaphorically speaking, the light that's so bright that the darkness can't thrive.
That's why we want to keep each other happy. Choose to be happy no matter what. And then let the circumstances move around and change, and then you can adjust to them. But know that the choice of the moment is to be happy.
But as I understand from what Abraham Hicks talks about, is that depression is, almost no energy flow, and then as you get up to anger, and then less anger to contentment, joy, and bliss, it is a constant gradation of opening up, so that when you're in bliss, that your energy channels are open more, so that you can have more energy flowing through you at one time. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's part of that you have to be happy, so that you can open up completely to allow this energy to flow through you and change you, to metamorphosize through this time period.
All right, so having a relationship with nature in whatever way you can, in whatever way you do, and it's as simple as walking over to a tree and putting your hands on it, and it'll start to talk to you, it'll start to give you something, a connectedness that you'll have with it, and that's going to make you happy. You're going to get happier and happier. It's also going to allow for the nature to feel happy. Like however you communicate with nature, know that as you're communicating, when you tell your animals that you love them, when you tell your trees that you love them and your plants that you love them, you're healing this planet. Like, why would you not do it? Everybody's going to want to do it, right? It's nice. It's nice because it's like a way to make a difference, right? Like what it so. Right, this is fun, right?
Yeah. Everyone makes a difference in their own way.
I know, and it's just like my thing is that we are here, folks. This is the future, and what do we want to talk about? We want to talk about how bad it is, or we want to talk about how much power we have and how good it is and how much we could, how much we can get done, whatever that's going to look like. And I hear things like, I heard it this morning, working with someone, but how can I feel happy when terrible things are happening in the world? That's a rough one. So what do you do with that? You're in charge of your feelings. Like we're all in agreement with that one. So you have the choice. You can make the choice to feel happy and then see what happens, because that decision and choice that you make to be happy is going to actually help these people or this whole world that's having the conflict and the dis-ease and the disharmony. But you being, I'm not going to be happy because this is happening over there, isn't going to help over there. In fact, it's going to make it more powerful over there because you're focusing on it, and we all know about the law of attraction. We can't pretend we don't anymore. You see, that's the whole thing. So when we're making that choice to stay in our stuff, it's a choice. And you're the only chooser in your head. And that's the most wonderful thing about it, though, I think, because it gives you all this power. And what choice are you going to make? You're going to make a happy choice. You're going to make a good choice. Why wouldn't you? All right, so then, it's not like I don't know. I whine sometimes. And Sutton reminds me. Fortunately, you need a buddy to remind you, because it's very serious stuff right now. The most serious thing we can do right now is be happy. The most focused, serious thing that we can do right now is be happy and help other people to be happy, no matter the circumstances.
Because the moment you get scared, it begins the chemical imbalance within the body that draws the things you don't want. The moment you get scared, the chemistry of your body changes. The moment you go into fear, things tense up, And the mind starts to put into the body all the negative things that draw to you where you don't want. So, that's why it's so important to stay safe, breathe, relax, do the things you know how to do, and continue to trust in yourself. It'll help you to be safe. The mind conceives and believes it will achieve.
And whatever it is that you're afraid of, it's like I got really clear this year about me not wanting to see my future because I didn't want to see myself aging. And it was it just happened to be a number, a birthday number that flipped that switch that was in programming from who knows where. And I had to, piecemeal it as each thing came up, work with it, and clear it and clear it and clear it. But each time I chose to make a choice, of what was good for me. But it's work.
Well, it takes attention. Focused attention.
So I sometimes think we need to just get out of theory a little bit. That we're stuck in theory, and we need to be living it now. And what does that look like? What does living it look like? Because that's what's going to get us through this shift, this pivotal time.
So when you
It's so exciting though, I love it. What?
When you begin the creation process and you have an image of what you want, you've already put the law of attraction at work for you. And like the law of gravity, it works to the point of resistance. And so to the extent that you don't have what you said you wanted, there's some resistance. So when you start unraveling what belief you might hold, it will keep that from giving you what you want, starting with like, well, how does it feel not to have it? And then it's that feeling that will then give you a place to unravel, so you can then get an understanding. And when you have the understanding, you release the resistance, so it comes that much closer to you. And so it's like a continual unfoldment of where the resistance is.
It's also with cancellation waves, because you can send out one wave, and then if you send out the same wave on top of that, you can do that. But the same way is that if you send a counter wave, it will then collapse and diminish the power that's been the amplitude of that wave. But another thing is that you can have, on top of those frequencies, is you can have subtler frequencies woven in those waves. So that you can sit here and you can have something like love, and then every time that you put into this energy, that you can put in more direction to it, so that you can further not only give it more energy of it actually manifesting, but it's actually you're putting more energy into to change its direction, to modify it, to expand the scope of it. And because the same way like in music, that you have the lower frequencies will go like this, and the bass frequencies will wrap around such. And just because their frequencies are just so, they can bend very easily. Versus the very high frequencies, they have to have a lot, it's much harder for them to bend. So that the high frequencies will actually carry on the low frequencies and work around with the low frequencies when they're in harmony. So that you can actually sit here and harmonize your intention out. Mm. And in the same way that you would harmonize a chord between many different notes, the same way that you harmonize your life between the different threads that you're trying to work into your narrative, your story, your script, your movie.
Mm. So when you do your music, play your music, or when you write your music or compose it, are you composing with that in mind to bring that harmony together, or to create harmony, or are you doing it with, I want to hear this, I want to hear this particular melody or this particular sound?